So anyways, Natasha, let's go into the last funding round of the year.
Of the year,
which is Notus.
This company had one of the coolest cold emails that I've gotten all year. So they reached out saying that our Notus algorithm identified you as the most impactful journalist for our audience when it came to announcing their funding round. And I'll be honest, of course, part of me was like, are you just doing this so I cover you? But the second part of me, because I think I'm a narcissist, is that I was like, I need to know why my name came up and how. And so I didn't tell you guys this, and it's not in the story, but it came up because of equity. Their algorithm knew that they wanted to tell their story to a specific type of person. I'm guessing it was founders and investors. So they were seeing what a lot of their audience was tweeting about, following, listening, caring about, and equity came up. And so that's kind of how they found my name, through kind of that algorithm process. And that's just a snapshot into what the product does. A lot of what it does is just trying to help companies get better at speaking to their target audience through helping them secure external media. And that algorithm I explained in the beginning just helps them figure out who's the best person, an influencer or journalist, to target when sharing those messages.
So just to kind of break this down to a practical example, let's say that I found a high fructose baby food company. Right. And that's the goal. High fructose corn syrup, baby food. It's going to be big. It can help me figure out which influencers are the best at pushing unhealthy baby food. And then say, these are the 3 Instagram accounts that you want to work with to poison the children of America.
You know, it's everything except Instagram. Right now, they only work on Twitter.
Oh.
So they do a deep scan of Twitter and tweets and what people are talking about in our public square. So I think it definitely works really well for tech companies, especially fintechs, fintech people. Like, oh my God. And so, yeah, right now it's only on Twitter. They definitely are going to need to expand to other social media platforms because that baby food needs somewhere to go.
Well, Twitter's pretty open. I mean, fundamentally, Twitter is a public feed, right? Like, and most Twitter accounts are available, whereas Instagram is much more locked down and kind of more walled meta garden. I don't know. So I'm not shocked to see them start with Twitter, but it'll be fun to see what's next. Is it Instagram? Is it, the old Facebook app? Is it Reddit, for example, and so forth? Because a lot of people aren't big on Twitter, but are big elsewhere. I know that in our little niche, you're on Twitter or you're dead. But I mean, other places, like, people are huge on Instagram and then don't even tweet at all. So it'll be fun to see how that expands. Natasha, they just raised a little bit of money, I think.
They raised $1.25 million. The round was led by Alexis Ohanian, 776 Ventures, and they had angels from Glossier, Ashley Mayer, and Tesla as well. Bigger takeaway from this company is definitely like they're one of the newer ones that are trying to help how to have more influence. And I think it's interesting for us to talk about it because we unintentionally/intentionally can help a company become well-known and have influence. And so I feel mixed about it. Marianne, when you were reading this, like, how do you feel about it as a journalist?
I mean, honestly, I'm wondering about outcomes. How are they going to quantify that what they're doing is leading to something specific?
The thing that caught my eye, based on kind of what you just said, Marianne, is that I am relatively outside of traditional influencer culture because I'm not on Instagram. I do use Instagram to check on some artists that I like when they're on tour, but that's really about it. So I don't have like a feed of influencers per se, but I think that it's a bigger market than people think. And so I think what Notus wants to do, which is generally speaking, look at the haystack and find the needle. I think that is an enormous benefit to companies that don't have their feet deeply in social media, but still want to reach people in a mass basis. And so I can see Notus really unlocking a lot of spaces for brands and so forth long term, if they can have their algorithm work as well as it should. That's the question to me, but I don't think there's a lack of demand. It's kind of a technology question.
Thinking about like Notion, for example, a separate and startup, like Notion would have benefited so much of it before it became the Notion we all know and have memes about. There are so many power users. And I think that's like the long-term too of Notus is that they're going to help find the power users of companies. And it goes back to community, which was a big theme this year of like, how do you identify your community and then give them a lot of attention? So yay for attention.